Okay, I am ready to go.
Good. Okay, well, we can probably start now. We have 3 board members. Debbie won't be here tonight, is that correct?
Yeah,
Correct.
she's
Okay. And Neil will be joining us a little later.
yes.
So working. So everyone else is here, so that's the roll call. Everyone have a chance to read the minutes from the September 17th meeting? Any additions or corrections? If not, we have a motion to accept the minutes as published.
All motion.
Okay, Jake motions. Need a second.
Second it.
Kathleen seconds. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Put your
Aye.
hand up. Or say hi. Say Zoom.
Zoom.
Okay, motion passes. Let's see. We don't have any personal appearances. Somebody snuck into our meeting. About incoming correspondence. Didn't see any in the package. Nothing incoming, Kevin?
No, the only thing we had was the report on the housing, but Karen put it back in the package further.
Okay, we'll get to that. And then outgoing, anything outgoing? Didn't notice.
No, sir.
anything. How about monthly revenue? Take a look at that. Any questions or comments about monthly revenue? Okay, so let's move on to expenditures. A lot of them here. I think most of them are pretty much self-explanatory. Any questions on expenditures? No? Okay. Let's see. Sam, you want to do your park report?
Yeah, nothing real exciting except for I did get called from Lake County Nursery. I think that was day before yesterday. All the memorial trees that we will plant in the fall are going to be dug late next week, so we'll get them planted before Halloween.
That'd be nice.
Here's Neil and Megan.
Greetings.
Greetings.
There is everybody. Okay.
Okay, let's see. So anything else, Sam? Any questions for
There was
Sam?
something exciting. So we did get the basketball backboards up at Alice.
Okay. That's great. Said you removed rotten timbers. Is that standing trees or branches?
No, those were rotten timbers. We put them around the edges of the playgrounds to keep the mulch and everything in, and there were some rotting out, so we just removed them and blended the grass so you have a 0 entry on them.
Okay, any questions or comments for Sam?
No, I heard great things about the basketball court though. A lot of kids at school were talking about it. So
They
Yeah.
like it? Cool.
yeah.
I went by and looked at it. It looks real good.
But you didn't go play?
Not yet.
Okay, Recreation Department report, Nancy? Oh, there she is.
Sorry, I had my mute on.
That's okay.
Yeah, so just one of the big things that we're going to do is change our preschool program from 3 days to 5 days. We're just not getting the numbers. So by doing it 3 days and having the price at $225 a month, and we maintain enrollment at 9, we should be okay. But we're going to give it a try, and we'll see how it goes by November 1st.
Okay,
And
we're
then-
running 2 centers now?
Well, for the preschool, we're just doing the one, but we're going to run 3 days a week instead of 5 days a week.
Okay.
And then we're taking registrations for the Tree City Turkey Trot. And Megan, did you want to go over your stuff?
Oop, I think Megan is muted.
Oh, Megan, did you just want to talk? I mean, our enrollment is low. I mean, our enrollment's low, but that's just with the the different cohorts that we have to experience at the schools. So we're trying to maintain what we can there.
I think Megan disappeared.
Now you can't see me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Yes,
can hear you
I can hear
now.
you.
Oh, now you can't see me. Okay. Yeah, just what Nancy said. We're still running at Davy and Rec, and numbers are pretty steady. We haven't had any new enrollees or anything, but we haven't really lost anyone. So
What are expectations for the turkey trot?
Well, we hope that we get 300.
Well,
We're
that's
going to
good.
do 100. Yeah, so that's why I attached the flyer there so that you can see that we're going to run it at 3 different start times, 8:30, 9, and 9:30. And we're going to only allow 100 runners per race. And I shared this with the health director just to let her know how we were going to be running this. I mean, we normally get 500 to 700 runners, but we're going to eliminate that and just do 100 at each half-hour race start time. So hopefully we'll get 300. We don't know. We'll have to see.
That's good. So in other words, everybody will start staggered, but not necessarily finish staggered, right?
Right. So
Yeah.
we're going to have
How do you control that, I guess?
yeah, we're going to have two different shoots, one for the 8:30 and one for the 9, and then once the 9 lets off, then the 9:30 will start in the shoot that started in the 8:30 shoot. So, or they'll be coming in the 8:30 shoot.
Do runners
everybody
have to
should be
wear a
done by
mask? Or
What's that?
do runners have to wear a mask?
No, runners do not have to wear a mask.
Okay, but volunteers and staff would have to then? Right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
And then we're not going to have any award ceremony at the end. We're going to mail the awards. We'll announce the awards on the that afternoon. We'll send an email out to everybody.
That's good.
So yeah, we hope to get our numbers. But a good thing is that Green just canceled their turkey trot, and they usually get a lot of runners. So we may pick up some of those runners that are normally in that race.
How are we promoting this?
Yeah, we send our e-newsletter out, and we have Josh is going to be sending it out through running Richie's through their race list. And we're putting flyers up like at our the different. Kathy went around and put some flyers up at our different posts in our parks.
What kind of timing are we doing on that?
We're gonna do the clickers again. Josh is gonna be there, and then instead of ripping the numbers off of the bottom of their race number, we're just gonna record the numbers on a piece of paper, and then Josh is gonna take the numbers and the sheet of paper that he gets off the clicker as we do the clicking, as they come across. And then he'll just match up the number with the race time.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he does.
Any other questions for Nancy or Megan? Well, if not, why don't we move on to the director's report?
Yeah, I've only got 4 items tonight. The first is the Al East basketball court. Neil and Jake just kind of talked about it a little bit. We crack sealed the court. After they crack sealed and put down a couple applications of the color coating, some of the gray mix they used to fill the cracks was showing through. So actually, instead of only getting 2 color coats, we got 4. So it's a slight improvement. 4 coats of color coating. Then they striped it. Sam and his guys painted the posts, the goal posts. Then we did buy new backboards and rims and nets to finish it off. So I included the picture in the packet. So it does look real nice. Seems like a lot of kids are over there using it. I was there one day, and there's a boy that goes to Kent Roosevelt. He plays wheelchair basketball. He's probably about 17. He was really happy because honestly, with his wheelchair and some of the cracks that were there, he said it was really difficult for him to play. So just an example of, I guess, somebody you don't think's using your court, but is. So it was good for him, but it was also good for all the kids in that neighborhood and adults also. But I think the end result for what it costs was really a win-win for us. My next item is a Franklin Mills Stonewall project. It's been in disrepair for quite a few years, I believe. Just recently, we had some of the wall was kicked into the river. So we got COI Stonewall to come in and fix that. They did a really good job. They even matched up the mortar to kind of what existed. They added some color to it. So it looks like it's been there for a while and not just brand new kind of grayish white mortar. I also included the picture of that in your packet so you can kind of see it before and after. Sam would know better than I, but as you can see in the pictures, there's a lot of graffiti in that area, especially under the bridge, occasionally on the wall itself. And I guess at some point with the kids there, when the walls started deteriorating, they just kicked a portion of it over. So it's safe again. It's got a new timber on top. Aesthetically, it looks a lot better. It's still in a really highly graffitied area, but there's no way we can clean the graffiti under that bridge. It would take months probably to clean it, and it would just happen again. So I think the same thing. The end result was a real improvement to the stone wall. The next is an update on the Middlebury boat ramp. Having talked to the Coons a little bit while we were out there, I'm out there with the engineer, Jim Bulling, and Merle Coon came out and kind of indicated why originally, say, maybe 8 to 9 years ago, when we actually thought we had a deal on purchasing that little sliver. The reason he didn't sign that agreement is because when they did the survey, they included a much bigger piece of property than he wanted to sell. He only wanted to sell us that sliver, which is like 0.397 acres, 0.0397 acres. The portion that was actually surveyed was almost a half an acre. And unusual to me, but I guess maybe not to the city of Kent, he actually owns the land under the road. So when they surveyed it, they included that property. When the surveyors came out and were putting stakes in the ground, he was really unhappy that the actual property that we were, and it's included in our agreement, was about 5 times more than he wanted to sell. So I guess at that time, he could have contacted John and he said, "Hey, John, I don't want to sell all this." Apparently he was mad enough that he just dropped it. John apparently thought it was, we had a good deal and it all been signed. So we're back to really just going to purchase that sliver. I think we can use the survey we already have. Now it's just a matter of getting a price for that. You wouldn't think it'd be over $1,000. The water bill that he owed previously, that's no longer in play. I don't know if he's paid that, but I checked on that, and that's not something we can utilize for the purchase. But I wouldn't think the value of this property is that much. I mean, nobody else has a use for it, but so we'll see what happens. But that's kind of historically why he didn't sign the agreement back in 2000. I think it was 2011 or 12. I included a lot of that in your packet, the survey and the part where I'm going to buy, so you can look that over. Right now, it's in the law director's hands and his attorney, so hopefully they can come to an agreement and we can move forward on that.
The law director confirmed that he owned under the road? I've never heard that before.
Neither have I, no. And Jim Bowling said that's not uncommon on some of the older streets in Kent.
Really?
Because I had never heard. Usually,
I thought it was like city domain. Like once you claim land for, say, a road.
Yeah, even like behind him is the Akron water line runs through there. He actually owns the land that their line runs through.
I know a lot of people have that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought it was unusual too. So I even asked Jim after the fact, said, "Is this a common thing that people own the road under the road, even though we have an easement through there? He actually owns the land."
Gotcha.
Usually it's the opposite. We'll own the land and we make
actually that's not that unusual. Even some of the buildings downtown, they show that they property lines go out to the middle of the river, and they use terms like meandered and unmeandered, and it gets kind of complicated. Debbie Smiles, as a real estate agent, had to learn all that stuff when she got her license. But the reasons for the surveys being so extensive was the fact that part of the deal and in getting that little spite strip of property was that John had the surveys done because that used to be part of the township until, I don't know, early 1970s. And that property was never properly subdivided. And John thought it would be to their advantage to have that property subdivided so they could have individual plots. So when they decided to sell off, I think there's what, 3 or 4 residents, maybe 3 residents in that area. And the property lines are not specific to those particular pieces of real estate, the real property that is. So John thought, well, we'll have to do a whole survey anyhow. We'll do a survey and do the subdividing. I don't think John ever intended to buy, for the city to buy the rest of their property in that area.
Yeah, neither do I. And I'm actually surprised that Mr. Kuhn didn't get a hold of us at that time and just say, hey, I only want to sell that sliver. It was such a kind of a minor thing to contact us about, but I guess he got angry.
Well, I think John was, John Idoni was dealing primarily with Mr. Kuhn's father,
Okay.
who passed away, and then Butch, whose name is actual Merle Jr.
Right.
He's the one that took it over, and there seemed to be a problem with the communications. Maybe they thought that we thought it was all settled,
Right.
And I don't know who was responsible for getting the signatures on it, but I don't think anybody ever informed the city that they never had any intentions of signing it.
Right. And the actual signatures, was David Roller. It wasn't John that would have got it back. It would have went to the city administration. So John might not have known because it wouldn't have come back to him per se.
No, I'm as far as the surveys went, I think those were on file with the city engineer, right?
Yes. Yes.
I know John Idoni had a big file on that. I don't know whatever happened to that, but I don't know. At least now it's getting settled. So
yeah, I think the good news is I think we're going to be able to purchase that gravel lot, and won't preclude us from, or other people from, using that kayak entry next year, which was the only concern I had. Was he put up some kind of a guardrail or a fence, and he didn't want to do that. He actually wants to work with us. So I think now with the 2 attorneys getting together, next thing I hope I get back is some sort of a cost, and I can bring that to the board.
Yeah, I'm not really I don't really think that this is going to solve the problems of the litter and stuff and people driving up on off the road and onto part of his property. That's something that the Park and Rec Department and Kent State didn't do in the first place, and it's kind of hard to control private citizens. And I don't imagine, I don't know who he should call when he has problems over there. I know Sam's people go over there and clean up over there.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, I think we're going to put up no parking signs across the street on Middlebury. So that may help a little bit. At least there's no parking signs. The police then can do something also.
Yeah.
But I agree, it's still going to be a busy place and still going to have some of the inherent problems you have with something that's actually successful. Just the facility is not probably perfect for what we're using it for.
Yeah. Well, hopefully at some point we can get a river access on the other side of the river.
Yes.
We already own, and then close that up completely, and maybe that'll make everybody happy.
Yeah, I think short term, it's a good end of the discussion, but I think long term, another place to enter kayaks would be better. The last item I have is just kind of give the board an update on the Brady Elite Trail project. It's kind of extended out, probably even a year longer than it should have originally, but we were waiting on some grant money from the Recreation Trails program. So I actually have some more firm dates now. You see the budget there. We got $700,000 from AMATS. We had a Recreation Trails grant for 150, and then the parks budget will put in the balance. We're going to go out for a bid on 11/19 and 11/16. So we'll advertise on November 19th and November 16th. We're going to have a pre-bid meeting with any interested contractors on the 24th of November. And then the bid opening is now set for December 8th at, I believe it's 2:00. So after we open the bids, then we'll see what our prices are. It won't be encumbered until 2021 is when we would actually award a contract, when the new budget comes out in 21, if the bids come in good.
So you'll probably at some point need some support on interviewing the contractors. I've done that before. And in fact, I think the last couple of times it was Jim Bowling, John Idoni, and myself. It's always interesting to see the presentations. So when that comes up,
Yes, I'll
yeah,
keep you involved.
yeah, I think the last time we did it, we had a great presentation from one bidder, but after you look through all the bells and whistles and the fluff, we actually awarded it to someone who didn't have the best presentation.
Right.
So you have to, and I think we were very fortunate to have John Idoni and Jim Bowling working on that because they had worked with these contractors before. They were very familiar with their work and their personnel too. And that's always a big thing. Certainly appreciate the help that we get from city engineering on this.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And there's also quite a few structures with this, with the steps, up to Main Street, having the bike rail between them. So beyond just your normal asphalt trail, in this case, concrete trail, there are quite a few structures involved in it. So it's going to take not just a good concrete person, but also a good construction person who does facilities along, so probably have a subcontractor do that kind of work.
Yeah, if I recall the design of the entrance next to the old Bissler building on the north side by the bridge, that was, really quite a showplace. The way that opened up and had the bike rails and the stairwells and the lights and everything. It was, it'll really be attractive when it's all finished in that area.
Yeah, pretty elaborate sign there, and also on Gogglers there were two elaborate signs that will take you down to the trail that are really nice. They're not inexpensive, but I think it's something that will showcase the parks because it has our name on it, but also really will direct people down to the river.
Okay,
That's all I have.
Any questions or concerns for the director? No. Anything for the good of the board here that people want to bring up and talk about? Okay, well, seeing none, if there's items that you want to have discussed at future board meeting, just let Kevin know or leave a message with Karen, and we'll get them on the agenda. I think it's a good idea to. I know most of us are out and we talk to people around and they ask questions, and a lot of times they expect answers. So if constituents, citizens have questions and you want answers, put it on the agenda and or just call Kevin and ask. Any other comments or things that people want to talk about? Okay, well, in that case, then we'll call the meeting adjourned. Thank you for attending.
All right.
Thanks, Karen.
You guys.
Have a good night.
Bye now. Figure out how to get out of here. Okay, leave.